Alright, what is up, my friends? Welcome back to part 3 of our Ikoria Lair of Behemoths complete set review. Every single card. That's right. Focusing on constructed, but also doing some limited stuff as well, going over every card. And we're going through. We did white and blue so far, and now we're going into black. And let's just dive right in. Let's do this. First card. Bastion of Remembrance. Bastion. The mana enchantment comes into play, make a token. Okay. And then whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So we usually see this effect on like Blood Artist type cards. This not being a creature is kind of weird. It's bad in the way where like you can't company for it. It's not a creature for like other creature synergy things. You can't reanimate it or recur it or use it to attack or block or whatever. But it does make a creature, so you're still at least getting some creature out of it. Usually we see this effect in more like combo-y things. I'm not super high on this card. Probably requires some sort of like Aristocrat Shell to be fine. It is definitely a harder to kill Blood Artist. It's only your stuff too, which is definitely a thing. I'm just not super about it. It's definitely I could maybe see it seeing play in constructed, but probably not. Then in limited, it's fine. Yeah, can't get it back with Rally of the Ancestors, exactly. Like it's not really a card we can like go super nuts with. Just seems fine. Then limited, like, kind of not really about it. If this costs 2, it is cool with Cat Oven. That is true, but it is a little slow. I definitely agree. It's fine. Flickering, it's not very exciting. If this card costs 2, I'd be more about it, but 3's a lot. Not really about it. Blitz Leech. Just take a moment to appreciate the name Blitz Leech. We have a 6 mana 5/2 flash. Whenever it enters the battlefield, creature opponent controls gets -2/-2 until end of turn, and removes all counters from that creature. On rate here, 6 mana for a 5/2 is not super exciting. However, removing counters is pretty good, and this is possibly a 2-for-1. You flash it in, kill a small flyer, block a other creature. So this card is like, it's not as bad as it looks. It does look pretty bad, I think, on face value because the rate's so bad. But realistically, with Flash, this card's not that bad. Again, though, this card's best value comes on defense, where you flash it in, kill a small thing, block a big thing. And tricks aren't as good on defense, we said. This is kind of a cute one. Definitely one to watch for in limited. You want to play around this one. It's a card. It's a limited card. It's okay. It's kind of hard to parse, but... Blood Curdle. 4 mana instant, kill a creature, and put a menace counter on a creature you control. So it's actually a little cheaper than we're used to in limited. We're used to like Final Death effects in limited. It costs 5. 4 mana instant speed, kill a creature is pretty good. And again, this is part of my concern for Mutate, is that putting all your eggs in one basket on a creature is risky unless you're getting other effects out of it. And every color has a good common kill spell that can just murder your big stack of creatures there. So this card is insanely good and limited, obviously. Definitely a first pickable card. I'm almost more interested in you being aware of this card when you're trying to mutate and evaluate mutate. Don't get blown out, basically. Don't get blown out. Yes, the menace is the theme. Every color has a theme around a keyword type, and black is menace. Menace is a real deal. I mean, putting menace on your 4/4 or whatever is like pretty sweet. So this card would already be a first pick without the counterpart. But with it, this card's really, really good. Excellent first pick in limited. Boot Nipper, 2 mana for a 2/1. Comes with Death Touch or Lifelink. It's just a solid limited filler. A 2/1 Death Touch is very reasonable, and Lifelink's also reasonable too. Both Child of Night and random Death Touch creature are both fine limited cards. So turn 2, Lifelink's pretty good. Turn 5, the Death Touch counter's pretty good. It's a very solid limited filler card. Bushmeat Poacher. 4 mana for a 2/4, which is not great. Pay 1, sack creature, and gain life equal to his toughness, and draw a card. I mean, kind of cute with some of the very high toughness cards in white and blue, but This card seems fine. Having a tap is a pretty big deal, but this is a very synergy kind of card. Definitely, if you have a lot of foddery creatures, I feel like the set's more based around going big than going wide. Although the white limited mechanics based around going wide, probably fine. Like black white, definitely a very specific card. It wants to. You need to have fodder for this for it to be good. Playing it straight up is kind of eh. This card is quite good. Call of the Death Dweller. This is a 3-mana sorcery. This return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard with total converted mana cost 3 or less. Then put a Death Touch counter on either of them, and then put a Menace counter on either of them. So the big talk with this card is in Pioneer and Modern, getting back Goblin Chainwhirler. Because you can give it Death Touch and then kill all your opponent's stuff. Pretty sick. But this card's got a lot of good value too. Just getting back a 2-drop and a 1-drop and giving 1 Death Touch and 1 Menace is pretty good. In Pioneer, you can get back like a 2-drop and a Fanatical Firebrand. Give the Firebrand Death Touch, kill something. Definitely some value here. Now, the problem is, similar problem to Unearth, where you don't want this card to not do anything, so you need to kind of build your deck around it. But at the same time, the payoff's not super high either. So it's definitely a powerful card. It's a cool card. Not amazing in limited, but if this card had, this is the card I want to have cycling. Honestly, this card had cycling too. It'd be a lot better because you wouldn't have that problem just being dead. But definitely a cool card. You can put the counters on the same creature if you want to. So in theory, get back Chainwhirler. You wrath their board and have a 3/3 first strike Menace Death Touch, which is really really good also. So definitely a cool card. Requires some work, but Goblin Chainwhirler, Call of the Death Dweller, big brain. Cavern Whisperer, 4 mana for a 4 or 5 mana for a 4/4. Mutates for 4. Menace. If this creature mutates, each opponent discards a card. It's kind of like the opposite of the blue draw card one. 4/4 is a decent size, and them discarding gets you your card back, so you don't get blown out. This card's definitely fine. Definitely better of an aspect of Lamprey. You have a 2/2 in play, put this on it, get a 4/4, but discard a card, and it has haste. So, again, don't want to go too huge. It's important to recognize that when you mutate, you're basically sacrificing the creature you mutate onto. But this has got enough going on for it where I think it's pretty good. And limited, of course. Chittering Harvester. 6 mana for 4/6. Mutates for 5. Or if this creature mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature. This one's pretty good. Not going to be good against white decks, lots of tokens. But obviously, a 4/6 is huge. And a 4/6 2-for-1 is also huge. And then this is the kind of thing where you get paid off heavily for mutating multiple times. Even though it's risky, you can definitely get paid off reasonably well. This is definitely a very solid curve topper in limited. Definitely a very, probably a pretty high pick. Corpse Turn. Instant. Mill 3. Return a creature. This is a reprint. Card's fine. Not really a ton of graveyardy stuff in this set, I don't think. So interesting in that regard. Probably not playable and constructed, and then just okay and limited. This is fine. Dark Bargain, another reprint. 4 mana instant. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 2 in your hand, 1 in the graveyard, and then take 2. Kind of like a super inspiration, read the bones kind of thing. There is a flash theme in Dimir, and this card fits that theme very, very well. This is the kind of card where, if it's sort of like Inspiration or Glimmer of Genius, where it's not amazing on rate, but if every card in your deck is an instant, then it's actually quite good. This card's probably better than it looks in limited. It wasn't very good the first time around, but this is definitely a solid card in limited, and definitely can push your flash synergies. Putting the card in the graveyard is nice too, so it's definitely a card. Definitely a card. Deadweight Returns, just solid card. It's a good kill spell, unlimited, already in standard. Not much to say. Definitely interesting art. Dirge Bat. Now this card is pretty good. The mutate cost is very expensive, but 3 mana for a 3/3 flying flash is already kind of okay. The mutation effect is very, very powerful. It's just Hero's Downfall. Mutate 6 is a lot. This is one of the few creatures where the mutate cost is higher than the mana cost, but very, very good. The problem is we got to have like a target for it to be good, and that's to actually resolve, obviously, too. It's a very good thing to mutate onto, though, because if we end step flash this in, untap, put the octopus on this, and kill something, that's pretty insane. So it's not just about the mutate cost as much as it is what's a good vessel to be mutated onto. This card is probably better than it looks. And I think that Dimir Flash could definitely be a thing. I'm definitely playing a Dimir Flash deck. We'll see the really good Dimir gold card later. But the fact that this has Flash, so this makes it good to me. Without Flash, this card's whatever. But with Flash and the ability to set things up, because again, Flash is really good because your opponent taps out, you get to end step this, untap, put the octopus on it, kill their thing, and attack and draw. So a lot of it is just the octopus being good, but I think this card's also a pretty good piece too. This card's definitely better than it looks. Definitely better than it looks. If a card has Flash, you can mutate at instant speed, yes. At least as far as I know. If that's wrong, someone yell at me, but I'm pretty sure you can. Durable Coil Bug. 2-drop for 2. 5 mana, put it back to your hand. Solid limited 2-drop. It's fine. Nothing really exciting about it. Just, it's a bear. Comes back. Better than a regular bear. Dustfang Mentor. Again, all the mentors are really, really good. This mentor cares about lifelink. And then again, like I said with all the mentors, I keep saying it. Let's keep saying it again. Any card that scales up indefinitely is insanely good and limited. This card's very, very good. Easy Prey. This card's very important. Great 2-mana removal spell. Being able to have a card like this in your deck where against an aggro deck, you can kill their Robber the Rich, but also you can cycle it, have it not be dead is really important. You know, it feels awful when you're playing Modern and you're like, keep your hand, 2 fatal pushes in it, and they're like, turn 1 Urza's Tower. And you're like, crap. So this having cycling is awesome, and the art is pretty... The flavor and art of this card is phenomenal. Art is great, and the flavor text is, the definition of bite-sized treat depends on who you ask. That's great. There's always a bigger fish. There's always a bigger fish. But yeah, this card's phenomenal. Excellent card in limited. Excellent card in constructed. Just a very, very good card. It's a phenomenal card. Extinction Event. 4 mana for a sorcery. Choose odd or even. Exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. This card's weird. Very metagame dependent. You know, seems really good in Modern against like company decks where they have a lot of 1s and 3s. The fact that it exiles is big game. And the thing is that this will always kill something, right? So if they have a 6-drop in play, it's their only creature. You should name 6 and kill it. Card's pretty sweet. Don't know how playable it is, but you know, again, if this kills 2 things, it's pretty insane, and it's not hard to do that. So the whole odd even thing, it's not even about just like, well, I gotta kill all their stuff. Are they playing all odds or all evens? Just killing 1 or 2 things is fine, you know. This card's good. This card's probably better than it looks. And yes, doesn't care about hexproof, protection, exiles. This card's sweet. This card's probably a lot better than it looks. Because again, we play... Think about this card in comparison to Eat to Extinction, right? Which is 4 mana exile creature. I mean, Planeswalker too, but... that's the floor of this card. You just name the card they have and exile it. And the ceiling is much higher. So, like this card. Like this card. If it hit Walkers, it'd be totally busted. Yeah, it'd be insane. Vanilla 1/5. Grim Dancer. 3 mana 3/3. Enters the battlefield with our choice of 2 different counters among Menace, Death Touch, and Lifelink. This card is probably not good enough for constructed. This card's busted and limited. Having a Menace Death Toucher or a Menace Lifelinker is just really, really good. And very good card to mutate onto. Just a really solid card in general. Just a really solid card in limited. Just really, really good. Yes, Menace Death Touch is a lot of LOLs, you know. Ha ha ha, block with 2 things, they won't die, get it? So, Uh-oh, folks. You know what time it is? Best in Show! That's right, Best in Show, Heartless Act. This is the best 2-mana kill spell printed, and I couldn't tell you how long. Really, really, really good 2-mana kill spell. So it kills any creature with no counters on it, which is a large amount of creatures. A lot. You know, can't kill Hydroid Krasis. Can't kill Nissa lands. Well, it can, but we'll get to that. You know, but for the most part, this is just 2-mana kill a creature, instant speed. Better than cast down. Yeah, I think so. It is format dependent to an extent, obviously. In some formats, this is not going to be amazing, but just really, really good card. And then if it has counters, you can remove them. So nice Nissa land. Remove all 3 counters from it, you know? So definitely very good. It is going to be not as good in Standard, because this is the typical thing Wizards does where they print the off theme kill spell. So for example, when Mirrodin came out, the first artifact set in a long time, they brought back Terror, which kills non-black, non-artifact creatures, you know? Ha, get it? Cast down, killing non-legendary creatures in the legendary set, and so on and so forth. So, not going to be as good in Standard, but in Pioneer, in Modern, and then it's still going to be really good in Standard too, honestly. So, just a really, really good card. Just very, very solid. It's not much to say. Just a really, really good kill spell. Easy first pick in Limited. Oh, it's not going to be as good in Limited, though. There are a lot of counters floating around. But still good enough. Definitely a cool card. Definitely a cool card. That's our best of show for black. Hunted Nightmare. 3 mana for a 4/5 menace. When it comes into play, target opponent puts a death touch counter on a creature they control. This card's kind of a house. Like, the drawback is very close to negligible because it has menace. And we're playing kill spells and stuff. It's not going to be hard to clear things out. You know, like, they put a counter on their creature, we just kill it. Next turn, whatever. And a 4/5 for 3 is really, really big. No drawbacks, just a big boomer. And this card's quite good. Not sure exactly what deck wants this card, because it is a 3-mana creature. It doesn't affect the board immediately. But this creature's just freaking huge. This will definitely see play. Also possible they don't even have a creature. Very, very true. This is definitely a bit Tarmogoyfian. Very little work you need to put in here for a very solid creature. Definitely a boom. And then in Limited, good lord, this card is good in Limited. Just a monster. Just an absolute monster. Insatiable Hemophage. Nightmare. 3/3 for 4. Death Touch. When it mutates, opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. This card is not very exciting, because this is the kind of card that gets you blown out. This card wants you to keep putting more and more mutations onto one creature, just asking you to get destroyed by a kill spell. And again, remember, every time you mutate a creature, you're effectively sacrificing a creature. You know, this card is not so big or so powerful that it's going to overwhelm anything. So it is cool to mutate onto a first striker with that touch, sure. But for the most part, this card is very unimpressive to me. Certainly playable and Limited, because like a 3/3 death touch for 4 is okay enough as is. But this card is just asking for trouble in a lot of ways. Not really about it. Lurking Deadeye. We got a flash, 4 mana 4/2. When it comes into play, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Definitely a reasonable Limited card. There are certainly a lot of ways to make this cool. Obviously, First Strike. Honestly, Menace, where you target the 2/2 Menace or whatever, or a 3/3 Menace. They block with like a 2/2/2s. You kill one, deal one to the other one, and then finish it off. Definitely a cool effect. A 4/2 flash for 4 is also reasonable enough on rate. That's like fine. It's definitely a reasonable card in Limited. Definitely a reasonable card. Card you want to be aware of for sure when you're making your blocks and things like that. Yeah, it's a card. It's a card. It's common. It's reasonable. Memory Leak. Oh yes, Memory Leak. The old Magic Arena theme card. Um, let's read the card, I guess. Memory Leak, 3 mana for sorcery. Alright, just coercion with cycling. It does exile, though. It does exile, which is kind of thing. But 3 mana coercion is pretty mopey. Cycling's fine, but not a very exciting card. It's okay, but not better than Agonizing Remorse, that's for sure. Mutual Destruction. This is just your Bone Splinters that can have flash. This is okay limited card. Usually you're pretty aware of how good this card is in your draft deck. Being an instant is pretty good, so you can kill things in response to it being killed. Definitely a solid card, but kind of limited card. It's fine. Mythos of Neth Roy. This is probably the best Mythos. This is very close to best in set for black. Obviously, it's like kind of not a mono black card, but it kind of is. This is just a murder for an easier casting cost, and if you have a green and a white, it's a Vindicate for non-lands, of course. Just a really good card. Very good card. Just what do you want? It's Abzan, Vindicate, or Mono Black Murder. That's what you get. It's very good. Insanely good in both limited and constructed. Just very simple, easy card. Very good. I think the white Mythos is almost unplayable, but that was in white. If you missed it, go watch it on YouTube when it comes out tonight. Night Squad Commando. 3 mana for a 2/3. Comes into play. If you attacked, make a token. This card's pretty solid. Again, it seems like the white theme is about going wide, so this fits well into like a black-white deck. Getting a 2/3 and a 1/1 for 3 mana is definitely fine. Solid limited common is fine. Serrated Scorpion is a 1/2. When it dies, it drains for 2. Definitely a good vessel for mutating. Not a very good card by itself, though, so kind of an iffy card. Don't know how important it is to have kind of foddery creatures to mutate onto, but it's alright. Could also be part of, in older formats, part of loops. If, looking for a 1-mana creature to like loop to kill your opponent, it could be a thing. That's matter. Suffocating Fumes, 2 mana for all creatures your opponent controls -1/-1, and cycling. Again, this is one of those cards where can be a blowout, but often dead. So giving it cycling is pretty good. Just a medium to mediocre level limited card. Just keep an eye out for it, Opponent makes a really weird attack. You usually sniff this one out. Unbreakable Bond. A 5-mana Zombify that brings a creature back with lifelink. This card's honestly not that bad. I mean, Bonds are viable, just better. That card gives haste, which is a much better ability to give to a big creature. But lifelink's not bad. This card's okay. It's fine. Unexpected Fangs. 2 mana. Put a +1/+1 counter on a creature and give it a lifelink counter. This card's solid. It's not a great trick, but putting lifelink on a creature is pretty huge. Like having a 4/4 with lifelink is big game in limited. So I think this card's better than it looks. If this card costs 1, it would be unreal good. But even at 2, I think it's fine. I'm not a huge fan of 2 mana like mid-level tricks in limited, but lifelink's pretty good. I like this one. Unlikely Aid. Speaking of 2 mana tricks, this is the kind of mediocre trick I don't really like. It's fine. It's okay. It's whatever. Void Beckoner. 8 mana for an 8/8. Death Touch. Cycling 3. So you get the cycle to put a Death Touch counter. This card's solid. Cycling for Death Touch is fine. You make your creature trade up. It's kind of cool. Not really castable. 8 mana is a lot. So it's an okay limited card. It's fine. It's not super exciting. Whisper Squad. This card's kind of cool. This card, I was going over the spoiler last night to do research for this, and I was like, what is this card? Just a 1/1 for 1. It's a human, and you can keep paying 2 to get another one, to recruit another one out. It's kind of like Squadron Hawk, but not. Again, going wide, being a theme in white's kind of cool. This card definitely has constructed applications. This is just a lot of material for only 1 card. A lot of cards, so you get to, pay 2, and then like you activate it at instant speed. Definitely a cool card. Realistically, even like in a control mirror, Just play this on turn 1 and say go. End step, get one out. End step, get one out. You know, like, this is a solid card. This card is definitely very solid. I'm actually pretty impressed with this card. I think this card is surprisingly playable and constructed. And then in limited, you got to catch them all, right? Definitely a cool card. Definitely a cool card. Zagoth Mamba. Rest in peace, Kobe. 1/1 for 1. When it mutates, a creature gets -2/-2. So this is obviously a really good mutate payoff. The octopus, put the octopus on this, it's pretty insane. That's a sick turn too. You go turn 1 this, they go turn 1 1-drop, you go turn 2 octopus, kill it, attack, draw a card. Whew. So this card is obviously very dependent on the things you're doing in your deck that aren't it. It's a synergy card, but it's a pretty good payoff at a pretty low cost for mutating. Solid card. Solid card. I think this card's more playable than it looks. So, cool. That's it. That's black. So, definitely some cool cards. A lot of menace. A lot of menace and lifelink, you know. Multiple really good kill spells in black. Some cool flash stuff, too. We'll see more of the flash stuff because of the multi-card stuff. But, yeah. Honestly, black looks pretty good. A lot of good kill spells. So, that's black. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please take 10 seconds. Like, comment, subscribe. Helps me out a ton. If you like my content and you watch a lot of me on YouTube, taking that 10 seconds to like the video and comment is just so important for me. It helps me out a ton. So YouTube folks, I love you. Look for red coming out shortly.